We've all kept well. It was very strange, and the kids couldn't get round not going out. And then when we finally have been out, I've noticed that they're like, can we go there? Can we do this? Can we do that? Can we touch this? So they're a lot more cautious, but I think we did the first probably 10 weeks without leaving the house because my husband was sent away to sea. So I had people doing our shopping and delivering it to the door because I couldn't take them to the supermarket. I couldn't leave them with my parents who would normally have my children at the drop of a hat. I think that was probably the hardest thing for them, was not going to nannies and having to see nanny on the iPad or through the window. We'd sometimes go up and wave through the window, but they weren't allowed in. So that was quite hard. And obviously hugging and kissing nanny and granddad and their cousins and things. So they've really missed the social side of it. It was very structured. We found that we had, it would take us all day to do the schoolwork. So we weren't just sitting about and not being able to go out and not do anything. We were kept well occupied. Having the three of them, the oldest one could get on with his things and that was fine, but the little two I had to sit with. So I found that quite challenging because I could only do one lesson at a time with each child, and it was normally different subjects at different levels. My stepdaughter's been down, she's 15, and she's been a great help. She's doing her GCSEs, or will be, and she was finished by lunchtime every day. She didn't have half the amount of work that my lot seemed to get, and she was done and dusted. So she would sit with one, I would sit with one, and then, you know, their break time, we would try and give them, like they would at school, go and run around the garden, go and jump on the trampoline. Right, now come in, let's sit down, let's start again. And it was really nice. In some of the things they did actually work together because obviously having older ones, they'd done the work. So they would then say, oh, I know what I'm doing with that one, Mummy, I can help. And so that was really nice, and that's probably helped bond them within the schoolwork. Yeah, definitely. I think without it, we'd have just been, it would have been the telly, it would have been iPads all the time, it would have been gaming. So yeah, I think it definitely gave us a purpose as well, gave us a lot to do. The school have been really, really good. We got phone calls in the beginning. They've had Zoom assemblies, Zoom one-to-ones with their teachers. There's been help at the end of the phone or at the end of an email. If I've had any issues, I've just had to email in, and the teachers have phoned me back within minutes and helped me through it. There was phone calls from the head of the junior school checking in that we were all okay as a family, if we needed any extra support or any help. I did really, really struggle in the beginning with everything being on electronics because I'm not technical in the slightest. And with my husband leaving, I was suddenly thrown in at the deep end with, at one point, you know, one was on a laptop, one was on an iPad, one was on my phone. For the Zoom meetings or the videos, so we ended up buying a tripod for the phone so that it was like they were watching the telly. But the videos, the videos that the teachers did were superb. They explained everything. They told you what you had to do. The work was then there. It was the technology that I had more of an issue with than the actual work or the teachers' explanations. I think that the kids have got such a strong bond with each other due to the small classes anyway, so that the Zoom meetings and the assemblies, they could all see each other. There was always a little time for them all to talk at each other, which was just crazy. And they're all interlinked with their emails, and a lot of them now can have their Zoom, and all the parents have got, there's big WhatsApp groups, so that if anyone was struggling with something, you could say, I don't understand this, how am I doing it? And the parents would reply to say, if you keep going back to the teachers that were telling you that they were there all the time anyway, but you don't want to be that one parent that goes, oh, I don't get it, what am I doing wrong, sort of thing. So I think as a community, Mayville has pulled together really, really well. It's a big family. I do, yes. I feel that they've been given a lot of work over the past few months. It has all been really well structured. Everything has been explained on the video. I think they've kept to the curriculum as much as they possibly can, whilst adding in some fun lessons and some fun bits. And the days out that they would have had, they've tried to create like the Kingswood experience. We had to build dens at home, we had to make beds. There was things that they would have done on the trip that was sent home, as well as the normal education that they would have done. Yeah, definitely. They've had a one-to-one every single week, as well as several assemblies, as well as several class Zoom meetings and a few lesson meetings. There's always the questions, is everyone all right? Does anyone need to stay behind? Raise your hand and I can keep you back, or I can phone you or Zoom you. If you've got any questions, just email me. If you're not happy, email me. So, the teachers have really been on top of it, checking in on the children all the time, and they know that they can go to their teachers with anything, or indeed I know I can go to their teachers with any issues that we've got, and they will be there to help immediately. Yes, Daniel went back a few weeks ago now. He's in year one, and that was a bit strange. I thought, do I, don't I, do I, don't I? How will he feel being the only one going every day? How will the other two feel that they're at home? Because I think they'd got to the point where they were actually wanting to go back to school. They wanted to see their friends. They wanted the normality. And I did wonder how that would work, having one at school and two at home. But as soon as he was in, he was absolutely fine. He was a bit funny in the morning sometimes, thinking, well, why have I got to go and they haven't? But I would explain to him they've still got to do all their schoolwork. They just don't get their teachers to help them. They've got to sit and do it on their own. You've got your friends. Laura has gone back one day a week on a Thursday, and she's absolutely loving that. She's so excited to be going in. And Dylan has gone back one day a week on a Friday. And so they get to wear their own clothes, and they get to take in less stuff. They haven't got to get changed for PE, so it's all very simple and very easy. And they're loving going back in and seeing their friends and their teachers and having that one day of normality. Yeah, we knew that they were going to be in bubbles and they weren't allowed to mix outside of those bubbles. They were very, very small classes anyway, and yet they were still split down again. I know that the desks were moved apart. We were given instructions for wipeable pencil cases, wipeable bags, only the minimum of things to go in. They wouldn't be allowed to share items and objects. They didn't need to get changed for PE, so there'd be less contamination and things like that. And there's the sanitizer on the door. I know that the kids have to wash their hands a lot in school normally anyway, so I think that was probably just kept on top of a bit more. So yeah, no, I did feel very safe sending them back. I don't think the school would have taken them back or would have opened if they didn't think it was the right thing to do. Yeah, no, they've had a great time going back in. It's a very exciting morning on the days that they go in, and when they come out, it's, oh, I've had the best day, Mummy. Oh, it was so good today. I've really, really enjoyed it. I think in the beginning, homeschooling was different. It was exciting. They didn't have to go to school. They could live in their pyjamas, and they still do. They could do their schoolwork. Everything was on a computer, which they loved, and I hated. But I think as time has gone on, they needed that social interaction. They needed the normality. They needed the classroom. So they are thoroughly enjoying going back in, even if it is only for one day.